All right, I'm going to show you a real quick overview here of the Hornady. I've got the calibration, the scales, and just wanted to show you real quick how this works. You've got a 0 and an on-off button over here, and you got your units and calibration over here. So go ahead and press this on-off button, and you hold it for a second or two, and it starts to boot up and do its thing. After a few seconds, it'll actually come up, and it should read out to 0 itself out. You can select here on units or whatever. Right now I've got it set on grains. You can put it on grams or anything else that you want. But essentially what I do is I actually take a case here. I've already deprimed and reprimed. It's been cleaned. Basically this case is ready to go. So what I do to make sure that I've got the proper gunpowder measurement here is like, just say for example I'm using this tight group, and I'm going to be putting in a 9mm charge. Basically this, sorry this camera's not zooming in properly or focusing in properly, but 9mm here at the top for shooting a 115 grain bullet. You're looking at a 4.8 grain charge is what you want. You can read more online if you want to go a slight bit less, slight bit more, what have you, but basically this is a 4.8. So right now the scales are zeroed out, so you put your empty brass on there with the new primer in there. It tells you how much that weighs, which is 62.7 grains. You come over here and hit your 0 button so that it zeroes it out. Now essentially you've got this empty cartridge here weighing 0, and you'll go over to your actual machine and run a couple of test samples through of your powder. You'll actually want to run it through a couple of times just to make sure that you see how much it's spitting out and everything. But after you got your press all set up and you know about where you want it, you should be able to come back, get a full thing of powder, however much you think is needed. Place it on there and let it sit there, and I've got it calculated right on a 4.8. This particular model I've had a plus 0.1 or plus 1 or minus 1, what have you, so you can see now it dropped down to 4.7. so typically it'll be either 4.7 or 4.8 on this. So what I do is I actually measure that out a couple of times. I come up here, put another charge in my casing here. Let's see, you can see some of that gunpowder. It's filling it up somewhere in the ballpark of halfway. So put that back down on the measurement, and you'll see 4.8. So what I do is I do this a couple of times when I'm first getting started, just to make sure. So if I sit this back down on there, it should read out at a 0. If it's 0.2 or something, then you'll just need to zero it out again. Every now and then this thing needs calibrated. But if it says 0 point and you know that it's zeroed out, come back to your machine, run one last check through it just to be on the safe side. Check in there, you've got probably, for eyeballing it, it looks to be about the same amount of powder. Sit it down, it should read 4.8. It does. So essentially I know that I'm on and where I need to be. So what I'll do from here is I'll start running some rounds through. I've emptied this shell out, so it should read 0 again. From here what you'll do is you'll start running some rounds through, and starting out somewhere around every 10th round or so, I'll check it again just to make sure I know kind of where it's reading, what's going on. But essentially after a few times of measuring every 10th round, I back it off even more, and then it just comes to just every now and then I'll measure it just to be safe. They've got dyes that you can buy. It's called a powder cop, and it essentially gives you a visual indicator of how much powder is in there. That's very good method to use. I know a lot of people actually eyeball and just make sure that they see about how much is in there. Slight undercharge or slight overcharge is not going to make any major difference if you're just shooting range ammo at the range through some pistols or what have you. When you get into the long range rifle rounds, obviously you want to be deadly accurate on this, but shooting the range rounds through a pistol, 9mm, 40, 45, what have you, you don't have to be quite as deadly accurate on there. If it's telling you 4.8 and you get one round that's 4.6, it's still going to fire just fine. Obviously, you want to be as close as you can. If it's reading 4.8 and you get a 4.7, you're not even going to be able to, the average person is not going to be able to tell a difference in the round as it's fired. So just wanted to show you how this mechanism worked here. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Any comments or questions, please post them below. Thank you.